It's a doodle talk for January the 15th. God, January the 15th, 2024. And oh, wow, half the month has gone by, and I've gotten a sorry, I'm just looking at someone going by in what's either faux leather or leather pants. Probably faux leather, and it's just like, oof, very, very skin tight there. And muscular. Yeah, none of this twig stuff. Okay, sorry. Just slightly see, that reminds me of Shang the Book Maniac, who would do that when he was in the park and he'd see hot guys going by. But where was I? Yes, it's the 15th, and I'm actually progressing fairly well on what I wanted to be progressing on. In that said, I'm doing a lot of planning this week and not so much doing the actual things. I'm planning to do things versus actually doing the things, which is like, okay, I guess that's fair. I planned not to be doing stuff. I planned to I planned to be planning to do the stuff. So in that way, I've been doing pretty well. I figured out that my 1901, 1940, 1968 project is actually just a 1901 project. And even at that, I am probably going to be hard pressed to complete that project by the end of the year. But I think I'm going to hopefully I will enjoy myself doing it, in that I will get a good sense of the year and the kind of the time around my grandfather's birth. That is my plan. Slowly pulling on stuff like that. Taking a look at focusing in literarily so far on Rudyard Kipling and Winston Churchill. I guess Churchill isn't actually literary, but looking at those two figures, I should try and kind of, that's, Churchill and Kipling, both English figures. I should look at other figures. I vaguely, as I was driving through here, Victoria, thinking like, well, what was Victoria, BC like in 1901? Take a look at that. Try and, and also maybe not as maybe not entirely white, maybe not entirely male. Try and come up with as wide a picture of that time as I can, and what it was like maybe not to be a white guy at that time, but also what it was like to be a white guy at that time. So that's that is my plan there. As far as doodling go, I actually had an interesting week in that I preloaded all of my doodles for CF, and so that they just dropped as the week went by, and that took a lot off my plate. I have a big backlog of stuff that I want to put on CF, so that makes things pretty easy at the moment to preload. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try by the end of today load up a doodle for today, but also load up all the doodles going forward for the week. That would be good. That would be that will take a great amount of pressure off for doing for the week. So I like that. That is a good idea. Yeah, that will be good. What else? God, I've just been watching Steve Donahue do what surely has to be kind of his magnum opus video of 100 biographical suggestions, recommendations, which is it's just glorious. It is him just going through and really kind of off the top of his head, just using all his knowledge to come up with 100 suggestions, 100 recommendations of books that you might want to read for you know, that you might want to read, biographies. And I knew, because I'm interested in Winston Churchill at the moment, it's like, well, it's Winston Churchill. He'll for sure have a biography of the dude, and he did. And it's good because it's one of those multi-volume ones, and one of the volumes is young Winston. So I've got that now in the back pocket. He also had one for a bio of Kipling, which I can use, which will be handy, because I'm interested in the writing of the dude, but I'm also interested in biographies are probably a good place to start for, like, what was this time period like. I'm gonna need something that's more kind of a general bio, not general bio, a general cultural thing of, like, what's the world like. And I mean, it's probably asking a lot to find that in one volume. I probably am going to need to look at multiple volumes and find somebody who's, talking about England at that time, somebody who talks about Canada at that time, somebody talks about other places in the world, like, well, what's available, and go from there. That's probably going to be a task in itself of yeah, trying to let me get that there, trying to find that kind of material. But that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in a want to know what it was like when my grandfather was born. What was it like? What was the world like? I was actually a part of that came to me, of like, oh, I would not have liked what it was like at that period of time, because as I came out of my house, my next door neighbor I thought it was chimney, but no, he's doing his barbecue now in January on the deck. And whatever he uses to burn is like produces such fucking noxious fumes that it just makes me cough when I come out the back door with the dogs. Just like, oh, dude, like wherever the wind goes, it always is blowing all their crap that they burn right into us. Luckily, at this time of year, I don't have to worry about it blowing inside the house because we have all the windows shut. But during the summertime, I have to, like, oh shit, he's doing a barbecue. Shut all the windows quickly, that side of the house, or else we get gassed. And I was thinking, it's like, oh, if I had been born in 1901, I'm sure I would have been. That's when people would be like, wood fires, coal burning, just like nothing was particularly regulated. Nothing was like, my thought is nothing was thing, and that you would just be breathing in all sorts of crap. I mean, they talk about kind of miasma in London, in that kind of a time period as well, and I'm sure that's what I would have been like, breathing in. And as somebody who is had childhood asthma, and whose breath can still get sometimes short, that would have not been great. That's one of those things that I can be very happy I was not born into. Because you think of all the various things, it's like, oh, what it would be like to be born at that time, and what it would have, I would have things, and like, that's something that would have really sucked. I mean, there's many, multiple levels of, actually, to begin with, I was somebody who was a premature baby, so whether I would actually be here or not is a good question. So there's that as well. It's like, yeah, that would have lowered my chances of survival, perhaps, if I didn't, or maybe I wouldn't be as healthy as I am now if I had indeed survived without kind of that incubator period, being in an incubator, which I was lucky enough to have. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I often think about stuff like that. You know, there's that, allergies, various, as my asthmatic condition. You know, I could have been a much more poorly type than I turned out to be. You know, there's a lot of ways that I'm a pretty healthy guy now, biking around and doing all this sorts of stuff. And it's like, would that have been the case in 1901? So looking at it from a medical perspective, yeah. I mean, think about that. I think about Ja with her being type 1, having type 1 diabetes, and that also being very much something that you know, that she would not have been around without the invention of insulin. Her life would have been a lot shorter and a lot more miserable, the amount that there was. So yeah. So that's so that is going well. That is going well, that project. I like, I'm continuing to enjoy planning it, at least. We'll see what it actually turns into at the end, I guess. That's always the question of, like, I get lots of plans. You know, what they turn into is another thing entirely. So we'll see. Haven't done any videos. I was thinking about doing a review video of it's Arthur Arkwright, or Luther, The Adventures of Luther, Adventures of Luther Arkwright, by Brian Talbot. I think it is Brian Talbot. But I'm getting further and further away from that. So if I'm going to do it, I better do it soon. So maybe I will just dash off one and we'll see how it goes. And if it's any good, that's great. If not, I don't have to worry about it. I can just, you know, I don't have to worry about it. Yes. If it doesn't work, yeah. I mean, that's the thing to do. Oh God, I'm completely all haloed now. Can I? I can't. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. You're not missing anything. It's just me scribbling on the page my infantile little dribbles. Some of them are actual dribbles. Yes. Yeah. I am still enjoying I'm still enjoying my doodling. I'm not doodling as much, but I try to be slow and steady, and get something either plotted. I try and write out, as I said, I kind of write out my ideas, and then I pencil my ideas, and then, like at the moment, I can just I'll just try and ink over my rough sketches of ideas. They're, God, they're comedic to me. I got a, did I tell you I got a comment on one of my, oh yeah, I uploaded a drawing to LE, and it took forever for it to get accepted, which makes me think it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna submit anything to there, because it just takes forever to actually get it to upload. But I uploaded it, and I got two comments. One comment was, oh, shouldn't let women breed. You'd have to know the context of the thing. But the other comment was, this looks like it was drawn by a child, which I'm almost inclined to say, and it was an anonymous comment, I'm almost inclined to go, oh, thank you. That's a high compliment. A very childlike drawing. It looks very crude. It's hopefully got the enthusiasm of a child. You know, that's you know, the only thing. It's like the energy, the intelligence of a child is probably what I'm going for here. You know, I'm sure it was not meant in a complimentary way. It probably wasn't meant as a compliment, but I have taken it as a compliment that, you know, I make no illusions that what I do is of a rank amateur with a shaky idea of what the hell of human anatomy and composition, and is yeah, to be taken on that and on that level. Sorry, I'm doing my final little dialogue. Worth every penny, my hero says in a pathetic voice. Yes. Yes, yes. God. I would hold it up to the camera, but it does look like it was written by a particularly horny child with interesting ideas of sexuality. Let's just put it that way. If my child came home with something like that, I'd be worried. Now, if your middle-aged dude did something like this, you go, yeah, well, we know what type you are. We'll leave it at that. All right. This has been Doodle Chat. We've chatted for a while. Ja should be coming back any second now, so I will leave it there.